Okay, morning guys. Last day before half term now, so I hope we're doing well. And we're going to start with our reading and continue with some of our mixed vipers. So we're going to have a look at a couple of questions, try again and work out if you know which viper we're actually looking at based on the question. So there's just a recap of what the vipers stand for. And if we look at our first question, it says explain why the author described Sunny as like a flag. Now you've got that key word there at the beginning, explain, so it must be an explanation question. And remember we said that we did this one way back in September, and we're going to need lots of information when we answer these types of questions, and it's really important that we're using evidence from the text, particularly in explanation questions when we answer these. So let's find our evidence first. So we've got that bit where she was dangling at the top of the tower like a flag, and then we can see that Violet started to work faster when she saw that. So my response to this one would be, I think the author describes Sunny as a flag because flags are normally high in the air and easily blown in the wind, which makes her seem vulnerable. So because she's easily blown around, it makes her seem that it's quite a dangerous place for her to be. And also he uses that word dangling, look, which doesn't imply that she's quite secure and safe up there. And then for this bit, an extra part that I would answer, this makes the reader feel more scared for Sunny and suggests she is in a lot of danger. I know this because Violet starts to work faster, which shows she is scared for her sister. So again, I'm just inferring why she starts to work faster there. She's obviously desperate to get her sister down and to safety. Okay, let's have a look at a different question then. And again, try and work out what viper this is from. So this question says, why do you think Violet was up all night? Now, you won't get the answer just from the small section that I've put up on there. You need quite a few pages. It's over a couple of pages where you need this to get the information from. But my answer for this would be, I think Violet was up all night because she was working on a plan to save Sunny. I know this because the text says she was working on her invention as quietly as she could. And I'd also add a little bit more to that. I also think Violet was really nervous and scared for her sister, so she wouldn't have been able to sleep anyway. So in other words, that gives an answer why she wasn't asleep in the first place. So have a go at those. Continue with those mixed vipers questions for today, and that will be based on chapter 10. Okay, so on to our maths. And again, it's Friday, so I've set you a little challenge for today, just something different. And the challenge is called the Mystery Matrix. And let's have a look at this particular grid here, and we'll see. We're going to answer a few questions on it just to understand it first, and then we'll look at how we're going to get started in your particular challenge. So a couple of questions here that you might want to have a go at. Pause the video now. So can you see how it has been constructed, and why are some numbers in red and some in black? So if you pause the video, have a go at those. So you can see that the digits in black multiply together to create a multiplication number sentence, and you can see that the numbers that are in red, well, that's the answer or the product of the multiplication problem. So let's just look at a example. If we take that 24 there, you can see that it's 6 times 4 equals 24. So this is basically a multiplication grid. It's just not in a particular order. At least the column, the black digits down the left hand side and not in order like we'd normally expect to see a multiplication grid. Okay, so let's have a look at your task then. You can see you've got a very similar grid to the one that we saw before, but this one obviously has lots of missing numbers, and you've got no black digits on here. So we're going to have to find a point to start. And just to make sure that you have read this top bit, it says the numbers 2 to 12 were used to generate it. So they're going to be your black numbers, 2 to 12, and one number was used twice. So just one number was used twice. Okay, so let's see where we can start with this. So the best place to start would be here in this row, because if we look at the 15 and the 27, we need to find a common factor. So in other words, what times tables does 15 and 27 appear in together? And that would be 3 and no others. So this particular square here, just to get us started, would be 3. Okay, and once we've got that, we can then begin to answer these two. So where does that 15 come from? What do we need to multiply to get to 15 if we multiply by 3? And how do we get to 27 if we multiply by 3? So those will populate those two boxes there where those two arrows are. I'm not going to give you that now because I want you to try and work this out for yourselves, but that is where you would start, and once you've got those, you can then begin to think about what other numbers you could put in. So remember, the numbers 2 to 12 were used, and just one number was used twice. So you can't have more than one number used twice. You can only do that once. Keep going with those times table Rockstars, and remember you can have a go at those over half term if you want. And then onto our writing then. Just recapping from yesterday's activity, so you're going to just continue with your own piece of writing. So your task for today is just to complete your writing to engage the reader. Don't forget that make sure you clearly know the purpose of the text, so you understand what text you're actually writing, and make sure you've thought about the audience that you're writing for. Try and present your work in a way that engages the reader as much as possible. It's really important that it looks good for the reader and they straight away are engaged with that. So you might want to include some pictures or maybe some diagrams depending on the text that you're writing to do that. And then when you've finished, make sure you edit it again to create the most enjoyable piece of text for your reader. And then finally, send it off to your chosen person, and don't forget to send it to me too. So finally then guys, have a great half term, and I hope that you and your family stay safe during that time.